She asked if I wanted a divorce, and I told her she hasn't left me much of a choice because of her lying. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Arazone Stories. Today we have a story where this woman didn't know that her husband knows her all the secrets. Let's see what really happened. Today we planned for my wife to pick me up from work, about an hour away, so I could leave a vehicle there. Said she would be there at 5 p.m. I checked her location, find my phone, around 4:30 p.m. to see how much time I had based on where she was, which was around 30 minutes. Over 40 minutes later, I checked location again, and it showed wife's phone in a parking lot 4 minutes away. I called wife and asked where she was as it's past our agreed time, and she said she didn't know where she was and didn't want to talk because she was listening to music and said she'd be there to pick me up in 20 minutes. I shrugged this off initially thinking I'm being paranoid and maybe she was working on a surprise, but after 10 minutes checked location again and her phone still showed at park. I felt a sense of dread and pit in my stomach and felt the need to drive the 4 minutes to ease my mind. As I approached, I saw our car and another car right next to it, which were the only two in the lot. I parked behind our car and observed a female in the lap of the driver get up and move to passenger seat of the other car. Their car was not occupied. I got out of my car and started to approach other vehicle to try to confirm. They pulled off and the driver was a male, but unfortunately could not confirm passenger was wife. I snapped a picture of the vehicle driving away to have record of plates. I was shocked and didn't try to contact wife. Roughly 6 minutes later, wife calls from a number unknown to me. Says she left her phone in the car and her friend picked her up to go down the street and collect cleaning fee from one of her friend's customers. I did check location and phone was still at park, so I do believe wife left her phone in car. I asked that she stay at a friend's house tonight as I was shaken up about what I think I saw. She continues to deny she did any wrong, but my gut is telling me otherwise. Additional context: found wife sending dirty pictures and having inappropriate conversations with 6 people back in 2020. She said nothing ever became physical. I decided to forgive, with an agreement that I'd be able to check her phone occasionally if I felt something was off, and it would help ease any anxiety I had about it. I checked it a few times, maybe once a month, but for the past several months she has locked her phone and not allowed me access. She said the idea of me checking her phone gives her anxiety and needed her privacy. I didn't agree, but have accepted it. Before I caught her cheating, I had never looked through her phone. I found the pictures because she left Snapchat reel open one day and was looping picture while open and sitting on our bed, and a dirty picture caught my eye. Is there a chance wife is telling truth about not being the person I saw in the other car? Her denial of this has me questioning my own intuition, and I want to believe her, but I'm having a very hard time giving her the benefit of the doubt due to the circumstances. We are both in our 30s, married 5 years. Thoughts or suggestions on my next actions or how I should address this? Thank you all who responded and reached out, it means a lot. Wife has been staying with a friend and still hasn't admitted what she did, hasn't denied it any further either. I'm not sure that I need her to admit it. I know and accept what I saw as the truth. I wanted to believe her so bad, I was questioning my own reality and needed a sanity check. I'm not interested to know any further details about what happened at this point, it wouldn't change anything. I deactivated Facebook and went to the gym. I'm still coping and working on next steps to move on. Still accepting advice and recommendations if you have any, and I'll update again as I get through this. I would be struggling way more without you. I'm going to the gym every day and trying to keep busy and spending most time outside. Therapy on Wednesday. I believe that she is cheating, and it's pretty obvious to most, but it's a very hard pill to swallow. Even though I think she's cheating, she's still denying it and planting seeds of doubt, however small, in my brain. She has been coming to the house when I'm gone, to see our pets and whatever else. Not sure who she's staying with, and I haven't asked. We have been texting minimal stuff when she leaves the house, etc. She asked if I wanted a divorce, and I told her she hasn't left me much of a choice because of her cheating and lying. She denied it again and said that she's been on her period and offered to send a picture of her pad. I can't believe how dedicated she is to her denial. A lot of you have suggested that it may help us both if I put in effort to prove the truth, where she couldn't deny it or get her to admit it. I'm open to this, and I decided to visit the alibi friend at work today. We aren't close, but get along well. She hugged me but was nervous. I just said I wanted to talk, and was very calm and friendly. I started asking questions, and she still covered for wife, but it seemed forced. We also talked about sometimes you lie for your best friend, and I respect that. That said, she slipped up several times, and her story is not straight. She surprisingly let me see her phone. Timeline did not match. No calls to her from wife before the incident, only after, which contradicts both of their stories. I mentioned this and the friend said maybe she deleted them, which I don't buy. I also took screenshots of her phone, as there were 3 calls during the time period of when this happened that I can look up. In hindsight, I should have checked texts and Messenger, but didn't want to lose trust with her. We spoke for 45 minutes, and she said she wanted to help me and would try to get me more info, and I said I'd visit again next week. Another key piece of info that she slipped when I mentioned that I was thinking about going to see her mom. Alibi friend leaves with her mom, who loves me. She said her mom would be upset with wife, and she'd probably look at the Ring camera. I pretended like I didn't hear this as to not tip her off at the significance of this, in hopes it won't be deleted if something exists. With that said, I think they only have one on the front door, and I've always gone to the back door the couple times I've been there. Should I ask her mom to show me Ring footage? Are there legit sites that could help me check these phone numbers? Any resources to help me look up license plate? Dark web. I've had a few private investigators reach out, but I'm super skeptical, and I imagine a lot of people in my situation are taken advantage of. If anyone has sleuthing resources and willing to help, please reach out. Am I wasting my time trying to prove the truth for my own validation? Would it be better to let wife get away with the gaslighting? What would you do? Edit. I have a 3-day Vegas trip for this weekend that was booked weeks ago. Should I tell her I'm going alone? Bring someone else? 6 weeks since D-Day. Wife has not stayed at the house since, and we've had very little communication. More gaslighting, empty promises of proving innocence, and manipulation. She's realizing I'm not taking the bait anymore, and has gone radio silent the past couple weeks. I was able to get more proof. I visited the alibi friend, and they had a change of heart and told me everything. Affair has been going on for a year, and the dude is married with a family. Wife doesn't know that I know. Tried to get phone records, but turns out wife changed account ownership without my permission, and service provider says there is nothing I can do. She had all my passwords and access to everything. I have not spoken with an attorney or filed yet. I'm coming out of the shock stage and want to move on. Wife is willing to meet and discuss divorce terms. Anyone had success with a do-it-yourself uncontested divorce. I'm going to try to get a couple consultations lined up. What can I do to better educate and protect myself? Should I blow up her partner's world, keep it in my back pocket as a negotiation, or not mess with it? Obviously, his partner deserves to know. I'm a bit scared of retaliation, to be honest. What would you do? Please help me not drop the ball more than I already have. Appreciate all your support. It sounds like she is not willing to work with him and is treating him poorly with a lack of respect. Knowing what to do is 75% of the battle. Lawyers get paid for being smart in the situation. He should go with an expert, unless he can't afford it. Then he must talk to some friends who have been through it and get their advice. You haven't dropped the ball. I like your idea of using your knowledge as negotiation. But if you're already in a non-contested divorce arena, you may not need it. If that's the case, tell the other spouse. Changing ownership on the account is also a negotiation point. The reason for getting a lawyer is to make sure you don't do something stupid like grant each other rights to your respective 401 kelvins and other financials. Interview a couple of lawyers to ask what they'd charge. Do take this step. You don't need to meet with wife to discuss divorce terms. A lawyer can do that. Seeing a spouse after the trauma is not for the faint of heart. It can really easily turn into an angry session. I met my BF on online dating in December 2021. My BF has been married before, which he told me on our first date. He said they split up in April 2020 and started divorce proceedings straight away. He told me that she bought her own place, and he's lived in their house ever since as he bought her out. Everything went extremely well at first. We had 1 to 2 dates a week, usually lunch or hiking, cycling, regular communication on WhatsApp, really hit it off. Both agreed we wanted to wait for bedroom activity until emotional connection was there, which we did and slept together after about 8 weeks of dating. When we both felt ready when he first stayed at mine, he asked me to be his GF around the same time. He did make some quite bold statements about how he could envisage our future life together and about how he'd never had a connection like ours. But I had no cause for alarm at that moment, although it's not something I was used to. One thing I noticed quickly was that our dates were nearly always in the daytime. Whilst I loved this, due to us both being outdoorsy types and being outside, it began to create suspicion. To this date, he has only slept over my house once, which he says is mainly due to being a terrible sleeper, and we have never been on a vacation or trip away together. We have never met each other's friends or family. More concerningly, I have never been to his house, and I don't even know his address. In January 2022, he told me his brother moved in with him because he had split up with his ex. That's part of the reason he said he doesn't want me over there, because his brother is always in and is annoying. Also, he said he just prefers my house as it's nicer and he finds it more relaxing. He has always told me he doesn't have social media. However, due to him not inviting me to his house, a few weeks ago I went on a very big stalk, and I did find a well-hidden Facebook and Instagram profile for him. Through them, I was also able to find the social media profiles of his ex, who still has the same name, a new photo with a ring on her engagement finger just out of shot, and the two of them have been consistently liking each other's posts. My heart sunk. I did recently get the courage to ask him about her more subtlety. He said they had a very bad breakup, as he left her and she didn't cope well, and to this day, she will occasionally ask his friends to pass messages to him. He doesn't speak highly of her at all, which doesn't fit in with them being friends on social media, and him liking her photos. He has also lied to me about his job. He told me he is an engineer working for a private company a 40-minute drive from my house. However, by searching his full name, I found out his full name from Facebook. I have discovered with 100% certainty that he is an engineer working for the government in an office 10 minutes away from my house. It gets worse, sadly. He talks about his brother. He only has one. He has an unusual name, regularly, and how annoying he is to live with, how messy he is, and how he can't wait for him to leave. On Wednesday last week, I suggested going to his house as he didn't have time to come to mine. He said no, as his brother was doing a big dinner for them both. However, having stalked the brother on Facebook, I can now see his brother is currently abroad traveling with his wife and kids, and has been for 2 weeks. My BF has been telling me his brother has been on Tinder and has been sleeping around and went on a date last week. This is a clear lie. Last but not least, he never follows through with plans. I'm aware this could be just a man thing, but also he does have some neurodiversity which may explain it. But in the grand context of everything, it doesn't look good, does it? On a positive, we speak so regularly on WhatsApp, pretty much constantly. I cannot physically fathom how he would be dating someone else, be that another GF or his ex-wife, and they not see him on his phone all the time. Also, we've had plenty of dates in public, some of which have been in his neck of the woods, so wouldn't that be very risky if he was with someone else? During one of our earlier dates, he even saw an old friend and went up to speak to him and introduced me. Additionally, we did meet on dating apps, so again, why would he be on them if he was with someone else at the time? Unless they got together after I met him. What do you all think? You may all be wondering why I haven't asked him. I'm too scared. It was hard work finding him on social media, because he uses his first and middle name. I found him by finding his brother, whose name is an unusual, and he'd told me, which looks stalkery. It was by Googling his full name I found other things out about him, like his actual job. There's stuff all over the internet about his job, really. He was in a newsletter at work just a few weeks ago. I'm worried it makes me look crazy, and the first thing he will ask is how I found all this information out, etc. Also, technically, he may not actually be cheating on me. Seems likely, but not 100%. And so I could risk the relationship by coming across like a stalker. In addition to all this, he has been on a work trip abroad since Friday, and doesn't come back for weeks yet. This trip is definitely legit, as he has been FaceTiming me regularly from his room, etc. But I'm putting on a brave face for him, whereas actually I feel distraught and resentful, but don't want to bring this all up on a FaceTime. but it's eating me up inside. Advice please. She should cut your losses. There are way too many red flags. She already know all that she needs to know to make a solid, informed decision. She should run away, don't walk.